What's up, YouTube? Today, we're talking about Skatestory, a truly unique take on the skateboarding genre from solo developer Sam Eng. This game really caught my attention with its distinctive art style and promise of something different from the usual skating sims. But is it worth your time? Well, let's find out. By the way, I streamed this entire playthrough over on my Twitch, so hit the link in the description if you want to see more gameplay of other games I'm checking out. Right off the bat, Skatestory does things differently. The game eases you into its mechanics at an incredibly deliberate pace, and I mean incredibly deliberate. It took 2 full hours before the game taught me how to do a basic 180, and a large chunk of the opening chapter is literally just riding straight forward. Now look, I get it. These physics-based games need time to teach you their systems, but I really wish the game would just let us cook from the start and give us access to all the controls up front. The slow drip feed of mechanics is a double-edged sword. It's accessible for newcomers, but it can feel restrictive if you just want to dive in. The narrative follows a demon skateboarding through hell in search of the devil. It's mostly nonsense if I'm being honest, and I wasn't particularly compelled by it. That said, there were a few genuinely funny lines of dialogue sprinkled throughout that got a chuckle out of me. What really kept me playing wasn't the story. It was the banging soundtrack, the absolutely stunning visuals, and the unique skating mechanics. The art direction in this game is something special, and the audio design perfectly complements the hellish atmosphere. The soundtrack is also just stunning, and I quickly added it to my Spotify playlist for streaming. All the music in this game, by the way, is by the artist Blood Culture, so make sure to go check that out. Just listen to this insane boss music real quick.
Talking about that life decided, yeah. Talking about that life decided, yeah. Talking about that life decided, yeah. Talking about that life decided, care.
So how does this game actually play? Well, let's break down the controls. To ollie, you hold and release the B button. Time this release correctly and you'll get extra height and bonus score. The more complex your trick, the smaller this timing window becomes, which adds a nice little skill component. The bumpers handle your shoves and frontside shoves, while the triggers are mapped to heel flips and kick flips. Here's where it gets interesting. These inputs change depending on your stance, so you need to think a bit more strategically than you would in something like Tony Hawk if you want to do specific tricks. You can also combine triggers and bumpers for more advanced tricks like hard flips and tray flips. The game does include some more niche legit trick names like frontside flips and big spins, but there are some weird omissions here and there. The scoring system works similarly to Skate and Tony Hawk. You earn more points for complicated tricks, but you're punished for repeating the same moves over and over. Land tricks back to back fast enough and you'll build a combo multiplier that you can cash in with the stomp mechanic. This stomp system is actually pretty clever. It lets you choose when your combos end, creating a nice risk-reward balance. Do you keep the combo going for a bigger score, or play it safe and stomp what you've got? Now, while the flip tricks and the scoring and everything feels solid, the game does drop the ball in a couple areas with the skating. Manuals and grinds just aren't quite as polished. The animations feel kind of stiff, and I felt like I had almost no control over which grind I was performing. As I played the game more, you can kind of do 180s into grinds to get better control over what you're going to do, but it still seems kind of random. And I felt like there was barely any feedback to let me know I was manualing as well. The grind splines are also just weird. Sometimes my trucks would land directly on a ledge and the game wouldn't register the grind, and other times I'd get magnetized to rails or ledges I definitely wasn't trying to hit. I know this is a solo dev project and we need to cut the guy some slack, but the contrast between the smooth aerial mechanics and the weird grinding and manual is pretty jarring. There are boss fights in this game, and the scoring system plays heavily into these, where you typically need to land lines in these spotlights to deal damage. Most of these fights have kind of a frustrating limitation. No matter how big your combo is, you can only take out 1 pip of the boss's health bar at a time. This just kind of feels backward. I'm being punished for stringing together huge lines instead of just doing 2 or 3 tricks and then stomping. Not every boss works this way, but most of them do, and it's honestly kind of a weird design choice to me. The level design in this game is pretty good for the most part, but it's a bit of a mixed bag. The standout sections are definitely the more open areas with multiple objectives to me. They just felt a bit more free-flowing and like I could check out the mechanics of the game more. And there's even some fun tongue-in-cheek references to other skating games. You know, the classic letter collecting, and most of the challenges are pretty enjoyable. However, the game falls into the same trap as most skating games. It's often more effective to spam flat ground tricks for score objectives than to actually skate real lines. No skating game has really solved this problem yet, but it's still disappointing to see it here. The other sections are essentially these linear tunnels. They're usually during boss fights, with little obstacles and occasional objectives scattered around. Here's the problem. There's not much incentive to do tricks in these areas. In fact, you can literally just walk through many of them without risking a crash and restart. A lot of the obstacles felt like they were just kind of in my way rather than encouraging me to skate on them. As far as customization goes, there's some fun options. Nothing like Skate or Tony Hawk, but you do earn different decks, stickers, wheels, and trucks. It's Since your character is just a glass demon, there's not much you can do with the actual skater, but it is a nice touch nonetheless. The finale wraps things up nicely and actually gets pretty challenging toward the end, which I appreciated. So, should you play Skatestory? If you're a skateboarding game fan or you're looking for something narrative focused that you can knock out in a few hours, absolutely give it a shot. There's even a free demo on Steam, so you can try it risk-free and see if it vibes with you. Have you played Skatestory yet? What did you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this review, hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss my future content. Thanks for watching. Love you guys.